Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jump rope.
Open Public Meetings Act statement, please.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board and township website on November 3rd, 2022. This meeting is being videotaped and will be on Channel 9.
Roll call.
Mrs. Flame? Yes. Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Did you guys hear Heather at all?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to start off with a proclamation honoring Jimmy, James Ketcham, and Jennifer Ketcham for fundraising on behalf of Franklin Township K-9 Unit. Please stop. This is a proclamation honoring Jimmy and Jennifer Ketcham for their fundraising efforts on behalf of the, you guys done fighting?
No. We haven't.
You done?
We'd like to hold it on.
Okay. Start again, George.
Yes.
That's for you, buddy.
Thank you.
This is a proclamation honoring Jimmy and Jennifer Ketcham for their fundraising efforts on behalf of the Franklin Township Police K-9s and the establishment of the nonprofit Franklin Township Friends of K-9. Whereas across our country, volunteers open doors of opportunity, pave avenues of success, fortify their commitments, and lay the foundation for tomorrow's growth and prosperity. They are often equipped with few resources and gain little recognition, yet because of their service, our communities are better and stronger. And whereas volunteers are motivated by the simple satisfaction of helping their fellow citizens, or in this case, the K-9 unit of the Township of Franklin Police Department. And whereas Jimmy and Jennifer Ketcham, both Franklin Township residents, Jimmy and Jennifer chose to fundraise for the Franklin Township K-9 unit to give back to the Franklin Township community as a whole and enhance public safety for all township residents. Through their fundraising efforts, including obtaining a grant from Wawa Corporation for the K-9 unit, the Ketchams provide all food, home supplies, and medical care expenses for all 4 dogs assigned to the K-9 unit. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Franklin, County of Gloucester, State of New Jersey, hereby thanks, honors, and commends Jimmy and Jennifer Ketcham for their continued unwavering efforts of support, volunteerism, and contributions to the Franklin Township Police Department, K-9 unit, and the citizens of Franklin Township. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Township of Franklin, County of Gloucester, and State of New Jersey, held on October 24, 2023. Signed by Mayor Bruno, Deputy Mayor Flame, committee members Doyle, Keene, and Mike Marsh. Congratulations. Thank you.
Can I borrow the microphone for a minute?
Absolutely not. Yes, you may.
Thank you.
There you go.
Jen and myself are honored and humbled by this recognition. And with that said, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And Friends K-9 would not be here without the help of our dedicated team. I have my nephew Dave, and we have Officer Dave Gallo and Corporal Josh Fenimore. We'd like to recognize the support from our families and our friends and our generous community and the Franklin Township Police Department, and we thank you. If anybody would like to donate, you can reach us at ftfriendsofk9@gmail.com or P.O. Box 784, Newfield, New Jersey, 08344. And if you have Venmo, look us up at FT Friends of K9. Thank you. That's nice.
Dad, let me see it.
Turn around.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the police department, I want to thank you guys, sincerely thank you guys for all that you guys are doing. Our K-9 unit, all 4 dogs, are fully funded, utilizing only donations They're not a cent of taxpayer money is spent on them. So your volunteerism towards your community is really going a long way with us keeping our unit going and keeping our community safe. So I want to sincerely thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion for the following resolution? Resolution 229-23, awarding the 2023 Matthew McCloskey Compassion Award to Officer Scott Brown.
Proudly make this motion R229-23.
How do you second that?
Mrs. Swain?
How do you vote?
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Matt?
Michelle, you want to come up? Scott, you want to come up with your family? I want to thank all of our friends and family and coworkers for coming out tonight. This is a very special award. With me tonight is the family of Matthew, his mother, Michelle Harding, and we give this award out every year to an officer in our department voted upon by our command staff that shows compassion. It is called the Compassion Award. So I'm going to give you a little history on why Officer Krauss was selected for this award this year. On August 3rd, 2023, in the borough of Buna, we experienced a very tragic event. There was a house explosion with multiple fatalities. It was a very tough day for all of our officers on scene. Officer Krauss was one of the first officers on scene and remained there all day. Officer Krauss the next day came back on his own time and single-handedly, with multiple other state, federal, and county and local agencies on scene, orchestrated a search effort in an attempt to recover bodies that were deceased. Very tragic incident for us. Officer Krauss did this on his own time. This was a very important factor in this investigation, was recovering the bodies of those young people that didn't make it in that explosion. Officer Krauss at one point was covered in soot because he was hand sifting through rubble for hours and hours and hours attempting to locate those children. So I don't know what else, what other definition you can have for compassion, but I think any parent that had lost a loved one would be proud to have Officer Krauss on scene and showing the compassion and the dedication and the willingness to complete a job like he did. Officer Krauss is always there. He volunteers his time with Malaga Fire Department for many years. He's a lifelong resident of Franklin Township, and it is very well deserving that we present him with this award this year.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. Matt, you want to get pictures? First public portion for resolutions and ordinances as well.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You guys still here, Heather?
Barely.
Give you. I'll give you a little.
Thank you.
Are we doing better? Still here, Heather?
Bob and Tom.
Make a motion to close the first public portion.
Motion closed.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Make a motion to approve the correspondence.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes from October 10th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Motion to approve the list.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve a raffle license for Delcy Deckett and Our Lady of Mercy Academy Parent Society?
Make a motion to approve the raffle.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolutions. Resolution 23023, authorizing the Township Committee of the Township of Franklin to enter an agreement to provide one school resource officer to the Edgarton Christian Academy for the 2023-24 school year.
Motion R 230-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 23123, appointing Matthew WOSHNAK, sorry, Matthew, as a Class 3 school resource officer for the Township of Franklin Police Department.
Motion R 231-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 23223, mayor to execute an employment agreement between the Township of Franklin and school resource officer Matthew WOSHNAK.
Motion for R 232-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 23323, confirming the review and submission of the best practices inventory for 2023.
Motion for R 233-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 23423, authorizing purchase of one 2024 Peterbilt 567 with Goldberg roll-off hoist via Sourcewell Co-op number 041217-WQI from Mid-Atlantic Waste Systems, Eastern Maryland.
Motion for 234-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolutions 23523, authorizing purchase of two Ford Edges via New Jersey State Contract number 209, Fleet 01387, from Hertic Fleet Services, Inc. of Milford, Delaware.
Motion for 235-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 23623, authorizing purchase of one 2022 F-150 cab pickup via New Jersey State Contract number 47 CPCPS for General Lee Motors, Edgarton County, New Jersey.
That's supposed to be 2023.
2022.
A motion for R 236-23.
Second.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. I get a motion for a second public portion.
Make a motion to open second public portion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. Just got a couple questions. When an email is sent out to a committee member or a township, is there a designated time that they should respond, or at least a courtesy time that they should respond? I'm just looking at what I do as a business, and obviously it's different as a township, but I just, it's always nice to have some kind of response back when you get one, especially if it's addressed to you.
I think there might be. I mean, it depends on what the email is and how important it is.
So if there's questions involved in there that are directed towards somebody, shouldn't there dignify a response?
Depending upon the question, if it's a repetitive question, it was answered at the last meeting, I don't really see the need to go over that.
All right, and if it wasn't?
It would be answered.
All right, well, I'm just asking because I'll use my wife.
No, excuse me, I was away for 5 days.
Okay, well, hope you had a good time.
It wasn't that expensive.
I just look at emails that and I'm sure it's happened for others, but for myself and my wife have sent out the questions that were not answered, and that we don't even get a response back. Now, as of today, there was a new committee member included who did respond, so thank you, Mr. Marsh.
Was I included the first?
No, you were not. So I'm just looking at how, from a resident standpoint, and I'm not going to mention the people it went out to, but as a courtesy, it should be if a resident reaches out to you, should at least dignify a response to it. I shouldn't have to get up here and lecture for that. That should be a common courtesy. I do have some notary questions, and only because this is more of my curiosity, and people have brought some of this up to me. The notary license some of this was answered in some of the emails, so I won't ask those particular questions. But I'm aware that notaries started somewhere around the mid to late 70s in this township. At least I've been able to confirm that for sure. It started around 76, but I don't know exactly what time that year. What is it, and I'm just asking, because this I didn't ask before, what is a legitimate reason to stop them? I just don't understand it's something that, mainly it's the seniors use them, from what I've been able to understand, that's the most common, and it's an easy.
I couldn't tell you that. I
Okay.
can tell you, we use it, we require it.
Right.
Just because of everything.
Of course.
Yeah, but unbeknownst to me, until a couple of years ago, when I got involved, you could actually come up and they would notarize it. So, as to why, it's a choice. They hold that certification or that license.
Right.
They don't want to do it, they don't have to.
Oh, no, I
There's
understand.
certain questions.
Right.
You need certain answers, and honestly, I don't want people getting upset if they can't have something notarized because they're not answering the questions. And I'm not saying that the gentleman here did anything or would cause all that. I had a conversation with the ladies that do it. I think there's 2 of them, right? 2 or 3, Bart?
Yes.
And none of them feel comfortable doing it at this point.
And I don't mean this to put her on the spot, but you don't feel comfortable doing notaries anymore for residents?
No.
All right, I'm just, like I said, just asking. Just like I said, just to me, again.
You have to ask certain questions. And
Oh, I know, I've been,
personal in nature, some people get offended by that.
right, I just had to have one done yesterday, and I had to pay for it, so that's why I'm asking. Where I could have came to the township and not, so it is what it is.
We could have charged, I believe, it was what, $225 or whatever?
Well, it's the fact that it was nice to have it as a residential standpoint, that's why I'm asking. It's something that, again,
$1.50.
it's not so much the cost, it was the convenience of having it there.
No, I understand that. I do understand that. There's quite a few people, but there was a couple other people that, I'm just going to say that they're angry people that said that we shouldn't be using taxpayer money to perform notary services.
Well, I know that taxpayer money pays for those notary licenses, so that's why I'm asking.
But they're paying for it.
I know it gets used within the township. I understand that. Like I said, I'm not opposed to that because you need that. That's part of the business. You have to. I asked you, Mr. Lyons, before about missed meetings, and you had told me, yes, there is a certain number of meetings that can and cannot be missed, but you never gave me any type of number. Is that something you've had any time to do any research on?
I'll get it to you.
Okay.
I thought the question was a yes or no?
Well, it was at that point, but I just was wondering what the actual number is.
Does it pertain to both statutory boards and advisory boards?
Well, of course, because if you have somebody that is pretty consistently, more than half of them not showing up for meetings, obviously there's a decision needs to be made if that person really has their heart in that position.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking. And again, I'm not going to get into any type of specific names because I don't know what that number is. I do have questions on 2 different properties, only because I have had a lot of residents bring these up to me. One, there's it looks like a road being opened on right off of Stanton Avenue. It's block 802, lot 21. It's 4 cars wide. It's right behind the church. I know who owns it. It's a company that builds condominiums and townhomes. And there's nothing that I can find through any resolution ordinance anywhere that they've ever come before a meeting to build this road. Mr. Finley?
It's the first time hearing it, but I'll look into it.
All right, well, you can't miss it. It's 4 cars wide. They've cut it through, they've cut a forest down 4 rows wide as far as you can see.
Is this part of the drainage?
It's for the drainage for the retention pond on P Street, correct?
Yes. Yes, it's a drainage situation that they had to do as part of their planning board.
Okay.
It's right next to a new house. If you're looking at the house.
No, there's a farmer's field on one side, a church on the other.
No, it's just a brand new house.
Is there a new house going in there? Okay.
It starts on Sheridan.
Yeah, on the other side, correct, correct.
There's a rancher, right?
Yes.
I'm talking about the Stanton side doesn't have any home.
It's to the left of the rancher.
Yes.
Yes, that's for a drainage easement.
Okay.
There was piping out there for the longest time, but they had to put it in the ground. CME's been involved in inspecting it.
Okay.
It's all part of waste, the MS4 stormwater management stuff.
All right,
Just cut that wide.
yeah, I'll say it's massive. And it looks surveyed like a road. You see all the markers out there for the height, so it looks like it.
Because they sunk the concrete stormwater in there.
Okay, all right. The Oak Avenue property right on the corner of Oak and Route 40 is up again through all the real estate sites saying it's up for sale, which has been for sale, but it's stating that they came before the zoning board and they got information on what they can actually zone it as. But of course, there's been no zoning board meeting about this. It states that there's, the zoning board has informed us that it will be no warehouses, no commercial and residential only.
Doesn't Fazio piece?
Yes. Yeah.
They got that, whatever they got years ago, I think they're banking on the fact that they got that approval for whatever it was, 420,000 square foot or whatever, before.
All right, so they're just bringing back old information.
Require them to come back to the board
Yeah.
and submit everything again and, go from there.
Technically, that's expired, but they did have a pre-approval before, so.
Years ago, when I first saw that sign, it said that, I'm like, that's like, they're lying to people. Because there's paper streets in there as well.
Right,
So-
yep. That's why, again, if it's expired and something, how are they allowed to do it?
Well, because it was
Sure,
pre-approved.
they sell
Right.
stuff.
Well-
Right, they're saying it was pre-approved. It's not a false statement. It was pre-approved at one point. The approval's still not standing, but it was pre-approved.
All right, so even though there's a statutory time limit on it, it doesn't matter, they can still use it.
They're just saying that.
Right, no, I understand that.
Right, yeah, sure.
All right, I'm just asking. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Chris Sayers, 184 Malaga Lake Boulevard. I attended the planning board meeting last week, and Chairman Pesh announced the master plan committee had been formed. I was just wondering about the process of that. Does the Township Committee actually have to vote to finalize who those members of the committee are? No. So is this just an advisory committee? How does this? What's the legal nature of a planning board committee? Is this just an advisory committee, or does this actually have administrative powers?
Recommendations, right, Matt?
Yes.
That the township
Correct.
committee would approve, correct?
Recommendations to the planning board would send to us, and the enabling legislation would have to run through the governing body.
Okay, and that's why.
There was a few letters submitted for interest in it. I think, well, Mr. Pesh, Chairman Pesh, went off to some of the letters.
Okay.
He kind of picked the committee.
And is just another simple question, is there any idea as to when it's going to start to meet, or?
I don't know that.
And is there any idea if those meetings will be open to the public for public input or comment?
Ralph, they'd probably be open to the public, correct?
Thank you.
Welcome. Ralph Travelloni, Vice Chair of the Planning Board. Mr. Pesh went through all the candidates. He didn't want to make a large panel. He chose 8 people. As he explained, he took a person from every sector of the township. Somebody that was involved in farming, myself, somebody's involved in fire protection himself, people who've been on the school board. He took a cross-section of the people of the town, those that volunteered. Okay. He asked or paneled everybody and asked them when you would like to meet, and it's pretty much positive that we will be meeting probably on a Thursday evening. Should it be on the Channel 9? Probably. Will it be open? Definitely, because there's no secrets here. And we will discuss what we think we need to go in, if we need to go into a new direction with the master plan. Now, CME has been taxed to work on it, as well as our attorney, to see what we can change and what we can't. An example is the word warehousing. So we're going to be looking at that word and where it can be applied. And we're going to be looking at the number one source of all of our variances.
1,200 square feet.
Right, which is an accessory building to the main home. Typically today, a person who has a 2-car attached garage, let's say it's 700 square feet, and he wants to build another pole barn, he can only, between the two, have a maximum of 1,200 square feet. Well, we're going to look into that because we do not want to burden the taxpayers of coming in here, posting an escrow, applying for zoning permits, because it's just insane, because we generally grant them. So why charge the people for something that they're entitled to? That's the number one reason we're looking into it. And then we're also looking at the paper street issue, which you had mentioned earlier. The paper streets typically are not owned by the township, as people don't understand. The township owns the right-of-way. The landowner on either side of the street owns the land.
It's almost like an easement.
So it's an easement. So we're looking at vacating all of them, because there's no future in more streets being built in Franklin Township where those streets are identified today. They're typically all bunched together in small areas. So if we eliminate them, it just makes moving forward much, much easier.
Thank you, Ralph.
You're welcome.
Just a quick question, though. Doesn't vacating the paper streets make it easier for developers to develop the land without zoning board approval?
But I mean, at the end of the day.
I mean, again, this is for...
Somebody to say pave the street, make all the improvements. Where are we going to get that money to do that?
Coming from a perspective of wanting to keep the town rural, that's not a bad thing to make the personal opinion,
But
again.
If they come in and want to build a development,
Yeah.
and there's paper streets involved, guess who has to pave the streets?
Yeah. All right, well, that's all the questions I had. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Barbara Halpern, Harding Highway. I came to ask how the Piney Hollow is going. Did you get to meet with the engineer on this?
We're meeting Friday morning, or Friday afternoon, actually. He has everything together, and we're gonna put the bid package together to make sure we have everything, and then get it out to you and to see if we can start getting out for bids. We have a price structure, which is what they requested. We gotta get construction estimates, so we sat down and did that. We've also kind of been talking with Brian, myself, and Ed. Are some of the things, could DPW do them? Could we, as a township, do them on a much cheaper scale than a construction bid? So Ed and I are meeting on Friday to go over all of it and then start to move forward with getting it out to bid, because that way we can have it and probably start something in the spring as long as we get the right bids in.
That sounds really wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
And maybe you can talk to John Stipik about something the Environmental Commission could do?
Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to, once Ed and I have everything together, we're going to forward it on, because you and John both asked, and Committeeman Keene also did. So we just want to make sure everything gets together so that all the questions we can think of are answered, so we can kind of send it out to everybody, look at it at the same time. Brian has looked at it to see what the things he thinks they could do, and go from there. And then the things like the Eagle Scouts, I know there's wishes of these benches and these picnic tables, but we may be able to do something way cheaper than what is estimated in the bidding factors for picnic benches for regular benches. Then, I mean, I think they're $9,000 to picnic tables. They're going to be some kind of picnic table at $9,000.
Well, I agree with you that this could be done a lot cheaper and maybe less fancy.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And the other thing we've talked about is there's no stopping us from doing a multi-phase project either. So we can do a phase 1, phase 2, and work on it that way. But Ed has everything together. He's had some stuff going on, and so we're meeting Friday afternoon.
Fabulous. I know that Bruce and I had talked about it with Jim McCloskey, the engineer before Ed, about the need to block off the farm access once that's cleaned up, and you need permission, I guess, to go onto the farmer's property to get access to do some of that cleanup.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy enough. We can discuss that with the state agencies and get on there. That's the other thing too. I mean, there's a lot of talk of these, in the ground, like embassy type bollards being put in place. That could be a future thing. We could put out the concrete barriers that we use for a lot of other stuff. Even if we interlock them like they do on the bridge, it would work the same. And we have plenty of them that we could use around town instead of putting these bollards in the ground to start.
That's fine. I mean, anything that just stops people.
That's the key. Stop the vehicles.
Yeah.
You're not
That
going to
sounds
stop the off-road things, we'll stop.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, as long as you stop the trucks, I mean, you're not going to stop dirt bikes, and you're probably not going to stop four-wheelers, but they don't have as much impact as all the four-wheel drive trucks have done to the trails. So, that's less of a concern. And like you said, it's pretty hard to block those people. But certainly trucks, we need to make a real good effort at blocking them from ever coming back after we spend all this money and we do all this cleanup.
Well, Ed and I have done some research too. I mean, some of the boardwalks they talk about are fairly extensive boardwalks. We've found some examples of other parks that have similar demographics and, you know, agriculture areas that ours have, and there's much cheaper options for these boardwalks that are not, you know, concreted into the ground, and, you know, so I think we're gonna put it all out as, you know, top of the line, but depending on where we get money-wise, there's things I think we can scale back, and we've already confirmed that we're okay to do that. Like, we can scale back the way, you know, if we're going to do picnic tables, we don't have to do the $9,000 picnic tables. We can do regular picnic tables, and it doesn't change anything with what we applied for and approved.
Right, and I agree with you. I thought a lot of stuff that was designed into it made it much more expensive. I mean, it wasn't just like, just put a bench here. It was make a area with, you know, chips or this or that, which isn't really natural, and it's a natural area. I mean, if you just put the benches there, that's enough for people.
But I understand part of it too is they don't want people damaging the benches or picking them up, and, you know, so we have to just think of some way to secure them in place, but there's a much cheaper option than $9,000 for a picnic bench.
Yeah. But once they're into the park, I mean, I don't really see a need to build, you know, put, you know, wood around the outside and chips, and, you know, it was a little overkill, some of the design, when it could be as simple as the Malaga Trail. I'm sure I don't know if you've been on the Malaga Trail. I mean, those benches are lovely. They're stuck into the ground. Nobody's taken them away. And they're inexpensive.
That's one of the things too. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of feet of railroad tie and stuff like that, but I don't know, you know, if it's a natural walking area, do we really need all that involved in, you know what I mean? So it's, you know, I think it's a common sense approach now that we have everything approved finally, we can start moving forward with it.
Yeah, it's all about making it accessible from the parking lot through the whole trail system as far as the parts that we're addressing. Obviously, we're not addressing the dams or that section of it, but it should be pretty simple, and I'm happy as long as the public can walk the trails again like they did 30 years ago.
Right. Well, that's the goal, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We get a motion to close the second public portion?
Motion to close.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Committee reports, Heather, do you have anything?
No.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies. Yeah, I don't have much. Just a reminder, Halloween trick-or-treating's 4 to 7, Barb?
Yes.
For Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Thank you.
October 31st.
Be careful, watch the kids.
We had the Shredder event too, 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Last week, and how many did she send me pounds we collected?
I don't know how many pounds.
It was a lot of people. But other than that, everyone have a happy Halloween. Need a motion to close.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Heather. See you later.